Welcome back. We're working on Project TDI again. Today, I'm sure you saw in the title, we're going to be deleting the EGR cooler from this car. The reason why I didn't show it in my previous video for the DPF and EGR delete, I figured I'd make a whole separate video for this, mainly because this specific job is a little bit more complex and there's not that many videos or guides out there that really explain it well. So I'm going to try my best to film every angle I can get and kind of explain it as the best as I can just to help you out, because I had such a hard time trying to figure this out. On this pipe here, we got two M10 bolts. To make it easier, I'll go ahead and remove this, the 10mm bolt from the oil dipstick and move it to the side so we got some space. Alright, we got two more T50s here. It is kind of an awkward spot. There is one under here that goes all the way to here. Decided to loosen that lower clamp and move this pipe off to the side so we have some space here to get to this. Go ahead and pull out everything. As you can see, we got this long bolt. Now we got the two separate pieces, the EGR and the shutter control valve. So let's head over to workstation and install the race pipe onto our shutter valve. So as you can see, that EGR is pretty filthy. Fortunately, we do not need this anymore, as this will be replacing it. So I know some EGR delete kits deletes this piece as well. My kit comes with a mini EGR delete, which it only deletes the EGR itself and not the control shutter valve. I personally don't mind that. I'd rather keep this in my car, especially for diesels. This little thing will help it prevent from running away. Essentially, we're just going to be putting it back together as we took it out. So, looks like from dark side, we got some hardware. We have a gasket for this. We'll have to reuse some of the bolts from the old one. These look to be hex bolts, so we will not be using Torx bits. Besides, for the one long T, the alignment. And then we got two of the original T27 screws that were attached to the shutter control valve in the EGR, which is going to go in these two bottom spots. Looks good to me. Might just clean this up a little bit before we stick it back in. And lastly, we're going to add the O-ring. These are going to be 5mm or 3/16. We will be reusing the rear rod. Alrighty. First things first, move our entire intake system. And then we're going to remove the battery as well. It's going to give us a lot more clearance in this area to work with. Sensor. At least with this engine. Extra pipe down here below intake is actually for your hot air. So if you live in a colder climate, it takes hot air from the engine and goes back into this filter to kind of warm it up faster. So we're probably going to delete that as well. I don't need it. It's pretty useless. Remove that sensor. It's kind of set. Oh, my camera wasn't recording, but there's going to be a T30 screw right there that you're going to take out, which is this one right here. So you literally have to twist it out. So you have your turbo there. And then down there, we have our EGR pipe that goes into the manifold. This is what we need to remove. A 13mm bolt on each side. So we'll have to remove this intercooler pipe here to give us some space to wrench that out. There's 2 clips on each side. And right here, we have a T30 bolt that's holding the intercooler. There you go. So like what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move this clamp out of the way. We're just going to gently pull it up and out. I can take this battery retainer out. Give me plenty of room. And catch onto that bolt right there. So you don't have to really take this intercooler out, but it does help that I loosened this and kind of pushed it up, so it gives us a little bit more wiggle room. This next one is going to be really tricky. So as you can see, that bottom one is pretty easy to access from here. The other one is kind of hidden in between these lines here and in between cooler pipe and this top one. So you might need something like this with these bendable joints. Kind of go in between the 2 pipes here. Fit this through. So we're going to pull that through in between. Alright, now that we got it in there, alright, now that we got those bolts out, Bart is taking it out. Completely forgot to mention, we do need to take off this triple square 8 bracket that's holding the EGR pipe, which is just going to be right snug down there. So we'll go ahead and take that out. That way we can take this out. We twist this bracket out. And there's this piece of shit. Alrighty, so now that we have that free, I figured we'll go ahead and move the rest of this pipe towards the turbo. You have 2 T30 screws holding it in. There's one on top and one on the bottom. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and remove our axle. So now that you have the axle removed, now we are going to remove the cooler. So we want to join these two pipes together. I'm going to disconnect these, let them drain for a second, put some clamps, and then join them. So disconnect the sensor here. So the dark side kit comes with this adapter to connect the two hoses together. Now the problem with this is it's plastic, and if you ever had a Volkswagen or Audi, you know coolant and plastic don't like each other, because over time these tend to break, corrode, and crack. So I'm not going to be using this, and not only that, at least for my car, this one is a little too small. So I went to Home Depot and I got this brass elbow ribbed adapter, and this one's a 1-inch, which fits my pipes. And the nice thing about this is because it's an elbow, I don't have to stretch the hoses that are already there. I could just slide these on. This one, it would stretch them. You can find this in Home Depot or any hardware store. It was only like, I think, $1 or $2. If you plan to do this, please get this. Do not do that, because then you have to go through this whole mess again. Alright, so now that you got that first one disconnected, I went ahead and pulled it up here just to kind of get it out of the way so we can move on to the next pipe. You can also go ahead and add that coupling through here if you wanted to. Now that it's all drained out from above the engine bay, we'll connect these two pipes with the... And I'm going to swap out these clamps for these instead. Alright, now we're back underneath. To make my life that much easier, I'm gonna cut this right here. So underneath the axle side, we have this pipe here that we're removing. And because it is easy to bend, we have one of the oxygen sensors here. I'm really just gently bending it through and fitting it through this sensor. That way you can take this off. So it's much easier if you go above and pull it out. So it looks like I got 4 of these, 1 on each side. Alright, so from above the engine bay, you take off this heat shield of cable that connects to it. So pop this out, move that. that you have the cooler out, so these are two pipes that we bypassed earlier, right? So because we had it tucked up there, you just kind of want to pull it down into place. It'll kind of naturally just sit here. You'll tighten down these clamps as much as you can. You really don't want these to come off. That hose that we bypassed, as you can see, you have this little rest. So you kind of want to just have it rest on the other hose. Yep. But yeah, this is what it looks like without the EGR cooler. It's pretty much clear. As you can see, I don't have a DPF here, so that made it a lot easier. So if you already deleted it, this should be pretty simple. If you didn't, you will need to take the DPF out. We're gonna go back up there and put our block off plates and put everything back together. And I'm not sure if you remember, but we're gonna need to block off the manifold here. So we got the plate from dark side. I'm gonna be using new nuts. I'm gonna put some Loctite on it. I'm just gonna reuse the old gasket with the new one, just to give it a nice good seal. So Darkside does give you a kit to plug this with. I will be using it. It's rubber, and I think this would be pretty good. Now that you got that on, that's what it should look like.